Hi, hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk about self introduction tips for freshers. It's all the way more dreadful for freshers to prepare for their self introduction for an interview, as well as experienced candidate. I'm going to talk about how to fearlessly and confidently introduce yourself in English. That I'm going to tell in simple 6 steps. Remember these phrases to break the ice. Prepare basic answers about yourself. Ask follow up questions to spark a conversation. Ask even more questions to keep the conversation going. Have an exit plan, smile, and be confident. Self introduction plays a vital role to create a first and best impression on interviewers. Stand up if you are seated and offer to shake hands even if the interviewer doesn't offer their hand first. It's proper etiquette to include a handshake as part of your introduction. Tell the interviewer that it's a pleasure to meet them, smile, and make eye contact. For example, I'm Tina Lionel. It's pleasure to meet you. Avoid common interview mistakes like not paying attention or dressing inappropriately. And if you know that you are prone to interview stress, avoid a problem by researching the company, preparing for the interview, and practicing positive thinking. Tip for an interview: to avoid sweaty palms, stop in the restroom prior to the interview and wash and dry your hands. If that not feasible, use a tissue to dry off your hands ahead of time. You may have to wait for a few minutes for your appointment. Then you'll be either be escorted to the interview room or the hiring manager will come out to meet you in the reception area. Even though you have an appointment, take the time to introduce yourself so the interviewer knows who you are. You know yourself the best, yet giving a good self introduction in an interview is quite a task. If your introduction goes well, you feel confident, and the interviewers also get a good impression of you. As morning shows the day, a good self introduction sets a positive tone for your interview. This open ended familiar concept works as an icebreaker for you and your hiring manager. First, is your self introduction in style. Is is nothing but excels. Very good. Tell so excels about your self introduction in a style manner. First, let us break self introduction for interview in parts. First, you let them know who you are. Greet your interviewers and tell your name to start the formal introduction. It is always a good idea to prepare for this most expected question beforehand. Do not hesitate to include some informal personal information such as your hobbies or what you do on weekends that you can include. For example, I moved to this city 3 months ago. I love the street food here. On weekends, I explore new eating joints. This way, I get to learn the roots of the city and prepare myself professionally. Being a sales professional, my profile requires a lot of traveling. Next question is, where do you come from? Mention the place you belong to, the location of your school, your college, and so on. Some people do not consider it worth mentioning, but it surely gives a lot about your background. For example, I've been born and brought up in Jaipur. I come to Delhi 3 months ago to explore professional opportunities. I have already rented a place in West Delhi and enjoying Delhi winters. What have you studied? Give a brief account of your educational background, such as your school, graduation, post graduation, and so on. Mention extracurricular activities you have been a part of. Do not be list out all the courses and certificates that have been done. For example, have done my schooling from Jaipur. For my graduation, I chose XYZ program at ABC University. It was a very enriching experience at the university, as not only we were actively involved in practical projects but also got opportunities to participate in a number of sports and other extracurricular activities such as plays and skits. who you are as a professional. It is always a good idea to identify some worth mentioning professional traits before your interview. Start with your current professional profile. You must present your previous work experience in a structured way. For example, I've been working as a sales professional for 5 years now. I joined as a sales executive and worked my way up to the position of sales manager within 3 years. Highlight your personal and professional strengths by mentioning some previous projects. For example, have a thorough understanding of sales planning and business development. I have been mostly involved in establishing effective client relationships. I have also developed a superior understanding of customer service and customer relationship within span of time. To give you an example, I would like to talk about a relatively difficult and unique project that helped me increase the profitability and annual sales volume of the company. Briefly mention the project. To sum it up all together, I've been working as a sales professional for 5 years now. I joined as sales executive and worked my way up to the position of sales manager within 3 years. I have a thorough understanding of sales planning and business development. I have been mostly involved in establishing effective client relationships. I have also developed a superior understanding of customer service and customer relationship with the span of time. To give you an example, I would like to talk about a relatively difficult and unique project that helped me increase the profitability and annual sales volume of the company. I'm going to tell you one more example for IT professionals. Being an IT professional, I enjoy learning about the breakthrough in technology. I attended a professional workshop about new technologies last year where I learned about a new tool in market. Mention the tool that you learned in your experience, and I used it in my last project. Briefly mention the project, what you done with that tool, what you learned. The excellent interpersonal skills which have helped me carry out the responsibility of leading the meetings with clients in my previous projects. I'm going to tell you just a small tip of this part. Just provide an outline of such experiences. The hiring manager will ask you more if he or she is interested. Excessively talking about your skills and talents might go against you. Always expect a follow up question about your skills and tool you have used in the past. Some interviewers might ask you about some specific skills, even if you have no experience in that area. Turn the tables by talking about a similar experience. When you turning your table by talking about a similar experience of yours, this example might help you. I have not got an opportunity to work with this tool yet. However, I have used a similar tool PQRS systems in one of my projects. If freshers have gone through the experienced candidate profile, it will be more helpful for you when you're talking about your experiences. Hi, I'm Aishah. I'm from Bengaluru. I completed my BCom honors from Christ College, Bengaluru in 2018. My father is a doctor and my mother is a social worker. I have a young brother who's pursuing his BTech. I love playing basketball and have represented my school in many competitions. My active participation in sports has taught me many skills. I'm also an active member of my school alumni club and take initiative in organizing alumni meets. I have a fascination for languages, so I'm learning the Japanese language.